So let's see the quick demo. So here my Flutter application which I implement is student management system, and this is my Android application, this is my desktop application, this is my web application. And also over here see everything is a different platform, and also different nav menu and their respective native features. Like for example, if I see in the Android emulator or Android application, so the navigation bar is then down, and also it is working for that. If I just click student list, so I'm able to see the student list. Even I want to add a new student, I can add that new student. And if I delete anything, so once I delete anything, so now also got reflected in the student section, like whatever that count. Similar, if I just delete something in our classes, whatever the class is over here, so go to the dashboard. Now see it's also got reflected. That means everything is correlated to each skin, right? Like a student skin has a capability to complete student management. Also there is a another skin which have that class management, so where we can manage that all that class. And finally I can see the dashboard where I can see that all that students and calculate classes and all over here. Similar I can see over here for that for the web application, also that navigation bar on the top, right, as we record in our web application. And also there is a student section which we can just manage everything, and also we can add a student, right, even we want to edit or delete a student. And also it's got reflected over here in the dashboards. And same things we can do that class as well. And if I want to add a new class, so I can just add a new class. And also I want to update and delete everything, and same things will be reflect in our dashboard screen. And similar feature also is, it is actually applicable in our desktop application, but it's have a sidebar nav menu, because desktop has look like actually it should be a side nav menu. And also this nav menu also see it is working perfectly. And if I want to manage that student, I can easily manage over here. And once I just delete everything, so if you go to the dashboard, you can able to see the dashboard also that impact or reflect the data over here. And if I go to that class, and also if I want to add, if I want to delete and anything, right, so that also got we reflect over there. Like for example, delete until 1 and go back, so now you are able to see over here. So this complete application we will build over here. And yeah, so before start to implementation, I especially recommend, if you first time visit my channel, so go to my channel which is .NET real world example. And I'm especially recommend this one, because previously I just created how we can set up, how we can create an initial level and a student management system. After that we have to do this is a advanced level. Okay, so recommend this one, because I will use this same repository which I have taken the last time, so then I will modify it accordingly for this new changes. Okay, and also if you want to set up, so there's a one setup also here for the Flutter. You can do that setup, and then you can start your uh, building your applications. And not only this, for Flutter, if you want to learn from AI perspective, or if you want to .NET, if you want to full stack developer perspective, so you can learn many things in my channel, so you can keep it learning and watch it. So yeah, moving to implementation, so what I will do, simply I can just open my old application, so which is that my old application. So before modification in this current projects, first we have to run and then see what we have, right? So this repository, if you want, you can take it over my GitHub link, and that is fine. Also you can watch it my previous session, you will get an idea how I can just build this application for the student management system initial level. Okay, and so for running, so I'll just run this as a window. So I just select this device for this Windows. Okay, and I can run from here. So application got running as a desktop, window desktop. And see, we have the student management system, like we have that one page, we have that where we can manage that student, right? If I want to delete, so it is a delete. If I want to add it, so I can add it. And if I want to add, so it should be add, right? So that we have to modify, like we have record that navigation and also require that class management also, like we can that manage the class, and also which student has belonged to which class, right? So those also we have to manage over here, right? So that we have to implement, like this is a full applications. So in this case, let me start to implementation. And also if you go through that code, previously actually we have just created a one file. This is a main dot file, which have that all that complete feature over here, that we have to just move it to that separate class, so that if I implement that student feature, so that should be a separate class or separate file for that. Also if I want to implement it as a class, so class feature, so I have to create that separate feature, so that it can be easily handled. Also we will use the route, and also we will use that provider, so that we can reflect the data and all. Okay, so for that, first of all, what I'll do, I have to just create that student features. Okay, so for that student features, let me just create a class which is a student dot. So let me create a new class over here, or new file over here. So new file, so I'll just create a student dot file. And what I need to do, I have to just create that student class, which we can store that student name, age, grade, and class name. Okay, and next I have to just create one service for that student, which can have that all the data for student, add all that perform all that operations, right? So for that I'll just create a student service. So let me create another file over here. So I have just create another file, which is a student dot service. So first I'll just import these two packages over here. First that fundamental dots, and then another one is a student dot. Okay, which is this. Okay, and yeah, for this actually I required one package. So let me add that package over here first. So go to that public.yaml file. So if you scroll down, you will see able to see the dependency folder, right? And here we have to add one package, which is a provider, which can be handle your service. Okay, so also make sure the formatting should be correct. So I'll use that provider like 6.0. And also we required to that package install the dependency. I think there's a one command, so that I'll do the later, but yeah, let me go back to that here. Okay, so that is fine. Then go to that implementations, further implementation. So what I will do, let me just create a one class over there and close that, right? And this is just a student service, will be extend that notifier. And I'll just create one student, like I'll use that in memory student over here as of now, right? And but later on we'll use as a service also. We'll use that create a backend API, and we'll connect from there also. Okay, but as of now I'll just use as a service, and that in the service we have that in memory data. Okay, and don't worry about that as of now. If you get any error and all, that will fix and later. So yeah, once they are creating a data, so I'll just create another method, which will just get that all that student using this over here. Okay, and now see, error has gone. Okay, and then let me just close that. Okay, so yeah, this is get method. Okay, so once you complete that get method, then I'll just create another method which will add a new student. So this is another method which I just use that add student, which will pass the student, and I will add that data in that student list. Okay, and then similar I have to just create for update, right? So similar I can update it, and also I can delete that. Okay, so this is just service, like we can create any service in this application. So this is the way you can just create a student service, extend this in a notifier, and then you can just create those method, okay, which will perform your manage operation. Okay, so once your student service is done, Okay, now what I need to do, I have to just create another file which can handle all that, like all that operation, like get the list, bind the list and everything, right? So for that, what I'll do, even if you see that main.dot file, so which I already implement such kind of things, right? So which can just bind the data and all, so that we will remove from here, but we have to implement and this separate file. So for that, so I'll just create a student feature file over here. So first I have to just create a student features over here as a stateless widget. Okay, so before that, actually we required few things over here. So we required few package, right? So let me just import few package over here. Let me add few package. Okay, so basically why is co-piloting? Okay, so basically I record this material package, we record the fundamental dot package, right? And also we record that provider which we have recently added over here, right? And also student dot file which just recently added, and this is that platform, like platform platform service, right? Not a platform service, but this is a one implementation which will returning actually what kind of platform. Okay, so for that actually we have to implement that. So let me just create first that platform class so that I can get that method over here as a commonly I can use for all over the place. Okay, so don't worry about that, I'll show you. So go to that lib folder, create a new file and create this platform utilities dot files, right? And in this dot files, what I'll do, I'll just simply import this to package. So let me import this to package, right? And this is a simple package which will can identify, okay, which is BAB and which is mobile and or desktop. Okay, so you can just add this to package, and once you add this package, I'll just create a one method which can identify, okay, uh, this is mobile platform, which can we can just check that if it is BAB, so it should be returning. Okay, so in this, if it is BAP, so it is returning false. If it is the platform, it is Android or iOS, so it should be return as a true, right? So that means it is a mobile platform, so that I just identify. Similar for desktop, I need to identify another method which can return. Okay, so yeah, over here now see, okay, let me close that. So is desktop also similar kind of implementations over here? We can check, okay, platform is Windows, Linux, or is a Mac OS, right? So that means it is a desktop platform. Okay, so now it's done, and that I have to just use it over here, this platform utility is over here. And as of now, see, as of now, let me comment this one, because uh, as of now I am not created any class service and also that I'll do that in later. But yeah, let me start that to implementation, and first I'll just create an visit over here. So let me create a visit, and yeah, this is a stateless visit I required for that student features. And in this student feature, first I'll have to just create a constant of that features, right? And pass that key, and then I have to create a few method inside that. Okay, so I require this two methods, so let me create the two method. One is for show details and one is that student dialog box, okay, which I already just created in last time. So pretty much same, let me show you, or let me explain actually. Okay, so first I just create on this show details, show student details, right, which can be used dialog box as a widget, and in this widget it will show that alert box, and which can be has there's grade and all and everything, right? And this is just a function, right? So this that can be show your dialog box along with your whatever that property you have a student, right? And then like see over here age, grade and class and all, right? So that will be show over here as a dialog box. And this is another method which can implement for that show that student dialog box, right? So this is for the details, like suppose if I just want to detail, so this will bind the details, and this is the show that student dialog box for that add, edit and other functions, other features, right? So see the show details, and then I'll just create a controller, like whatever our controller, like name controller, age controller, and grade controller as a text file, uh, text field, from text field. And then we have to define that it is edit or delete. Like suppose if we want to try to add or delete, so that the dialog box actually we have to define the title, and then a respective field actually we have to define over here as a over here as a columns, right? And then finally, if you scroll down over here, now there is some actions what you want to perform. Like if you want to cancel, so what you need to do, and if you want to that okay or update it, so what you need to do. Like see, in edit case we have to update the data, that service actually call and update the data and the edit section. Or if you want to add, so I want to add the data, right? And similar, just simply it just update that text as well. Okay, it is add or update, right? So these two function actually uh, that we need. Okay, and also just collapse that. Okay, so once you collapse, now what I need, I have to just create as a override visit over here for the child method, and this is that override visit. And let me create another visit, so a build visit which can be built over here. And yeah, I think yeah, like this way. And this build context, what I can do, I have to specify okay what kind of your platform and what you need to your design, right? So for that, now see, I'll just create student service and a student list over here. And then I have to specify okay if it is BAB, so in this BAB what kind of columns and what kind of design you want, right? So that I want to prepare over here. So let me just create a one function, this. Okay, now see, I just identify okay if it is BAB, then what I need to do, I simply I have to create the columns, right? And whatever that column alignment and all, this is a style. And this is a on press, with the on press we'll call this student dialog box, right? Which is this one. And in this one, it will show and show the datas over there, right? And whatever the data actually you want to show it on that, don't worry, I'll explain in a later. But yeah, so on click any student, you will just show the data whatever that is student details. So that's why I just create this method. This will send the context, and this context will be bind in this method and show that as alert dialog box as a student details, right? And similar again, just expand it over here as a visit, and then use the single child view. And here I'll just create an that columns, whatever that columns actually I required, like I required name is and column actions, right? So those columns over here, then we have to bind that column as a row, and the bit using that student list, and then we have to bind it over here. So that is pretty much uh, you know simple approach we are using over here. And also there's a on tap. Once you on tap on that actions, right? So it show that student details as well, right? So this is a student details. In here it will call this one, and it will show that alert message over there, right? And similar, you can just bind everything over here. And also there is some logic particular cell. And yeah, this is that last section which we have that show student dialog box, and this is that delete a student dialog box, right? So there's a show student dialog box which can be up to pass it everything, and then it will show that student dialog box, right? And yeah, this is pretty much good over there. And yeah, once it's done, now let me collapse that. We have a collapse option. Okay, yeah, so once you collapse, now I have to implement that else part. Okay, so for else I have to check that mobile, right? And in this mobile I have to create similar kind of function for that mobile support. Okay, so let me create that. Okay, so if you scroll up little bit, I don't want to write that code because it will take so much time actually. So I don't want to extend this video more. Okay, so here simply as a web, so I'll just implement like this, and this else if I mobile, so this is a mobile. Okay, and in this mobile again, this mobile specific code I have to writing over here, and it is similar, but yeah, little things actually different for mobile device actually, which is not supported. So that's why it is little different. And also yeah, this is say this is that what. So in that confirmation, delete confirmation, I'm using this as a confirm as a dismiss visit, and in this visit we have to call student delete service, which can be handle the delete part. Okay, and rest of things I think it is similar over here. Yeah, and also yeah, the list view also is a different for that mobile. So I'm using as a list title over here, and then I am using the row, and in this row we have to children, and this children we have to bind it all the data over here, right? And this is the same. And then finally on tab, that particular student and all, I show that student details and student dialog box. Okay, so yeah, this is good for that student as well. And then scroll up to top. Yeah, over here let me collapse. Okay, now the final section we have to implement for that desktop support it, right? So let me implement that also. So scroll up, it is similar implementation as like BAP. So yeah, also I'm using the center, then using child and all, and children's, and then also add student, and the there's a add student, right? So this is a dialog on the top button, which can show that dialog box, student dialog box, which can be empty, and you have to put the data and all, then you can submit it. And also we are binding the data over here, and also whatever the row we have to binding over here and call that show details and all. Okay, so yeah, it is pretty much similar. So yeah, that is done for that student features, right? So let me collapse that also. Yeah, so that actually we have to implement this student feature. So this is a specific platform we have to implement our design and all, so that that can be visible in our platform specific. Okay, so now once it is saved, now see there is a no error and all, right? Everything is looks good. And yeah, I think for good for that student, now we have to moving to class features. Okay, so for class feature again, what I need to do, I have to just create for that class as a class, right? So let me create a new folder over here, class, right? Class item property. So what we have to record over here, simply class name, section, and capacity. So that is fine for here. And then second, I have to just create again similar, right? So again I have to create another service which can be handle this class implementation. So for that again let me create another file which, okay, so here again we have to just import this two package. Okay, and yeah, this two package is fine for the fundamental dot, right? And then class dot, which I just newly created over here. And I have to just create a function as a service over here. Let me close that. And in this class service, I'll just create one classes in memory object over here. So I just create a in memory object over here, which has that class name, capacity, and all, right? And also we have to just create a get method to return all that classes over here. So this classes will be get that all the data. And similar, I can add a class method over here. So this is add class, and this is update class, and this is delete class. Okay, so let me create a delete as well. Okay, so now feature service also got completed. Now we have to moving to our features like class feature. Okay, so for that let me create another and here again I have to require that few package which is common, right? So material we required, provided dot required, and fundamental required, and then class item which I just created for class service, and this is platform specific. Okay, these are that common things we required. Okay, and also just see, it is just try to create automatically for that class feature widget, but yeah, I'll just create for myself over here. Okay, so I just create a stateless widget over here, and then I need to create a constant feature, and then I require this no one function which can be show the dialog box. Okay, so this is the dialog box which will can be show the dialog box. Yeah, so simply show class dialogs, and which can be show that add edit features and everything. Actually it will show that as a dialog box, right? And that's it, because in this class we don't want to show the details, so that's why we have just create only one function. As a student we have to create two functions, right? One is that show class details as well, so that we don't want to record. So again, let me create a override visit over here, and in this visit builder context, uh, what I can do, I can simply just call it to any storage that service and class list over here. Now see, this is the service call and get that data from that service, and then again we have to platform specific code we have to writing over here to show that show the design. Okay, so let me just copy paste over here my code, because I don't want to write that so many lines over here. Okay, now see, simply again I'm just checking, okay, if it is web or desktop, right? Because both are same, so that's why we have to keep it common. So if it is web or desktop, so I'll use that similar design for both, because it's just simple columns, that's row binding, and that's it. Okay, and if it is not, then what I can do, then I can just create for here. Okay, so if it is mobile, then it's little bit different implementations over here, because we have to do some native feature for mobiles, like like this confirm dismiss and all, so that I can use that different features. But yeah, it's look like actually it is just doing the same feature, and then also press calling this button and all. Okay, and once it done, and uh, else we don't record anything. But yeah, for the safe side we can just simply use that else block, and this call is that call this function which will can show that return, okay, no class data found and all, right? Just a simple implementation. Okay, so that means that class feature also got completed. Let me collapse that function so that you can easily see what we have done over here. Okay, now see, again we have to just implement as our design based on that platform over here, and that also done. Okay, and one thing's actually it is complaining. Okay, so basically now our class service got also created, right? So let me just undo that and save it. Okay, now see, error is gone, because we are using that class service over here to bind the data, right? So that's why you're using that class service. Okay, so now our class, so this is a class features, and this is our student features, and this is that common platform specific code over here, right? And now we have to integrate in this main file, right? Because everything we have to create it over here. Yeah, one more thing, actually the dashboard features. So let me quickly create a dashboard also, so that we have to finally integrate those all the feature in this main class. Okay, so for dashboard, let me just create a dashboard screen. Okay, so for that let me create another file, and in here we have to import that common this common package along with this service, like class service and all, because we have to get the data, whatever that current data of the service and student, we have to bind it this over here, right? So let me just create a visit stateless visit over here first, and then once you create that stateless page, let me just create a dashboard screen as a key, and then create a visit, like yeah, override visit. and here what kind of implementation we have to define over here. Okay, so let me get the data first from that particular service or length over here. We get that count. Okay, and where I can get the count based on that our student service, I get that count over here. Okay, and once I get that count, so let me quickly create a container which can we have to design over here, right? So don't worry, I'll just explain. Okay, so simply I just create a container over here which have this this design and all, and also there is a section like this dashboard tiles, and in the dashboard tiles, so we have to design this dashboard tiles, and also we have to do that specific if it is mobile, so based on this mobile we have to do something. If it is in a desktop, even then, so we have to define that uh, the design and all based on that platform, basically nothing else. Okay, and this similar over here, see I'm using that class style, right, which can be show that class things over there. And then finally I'm using this row as well, which can be, okay, this is L section, right? So if you go to up in this A for L section, now see if it is mobile, so if it is mobile then we have to use this, else like if it is not mobile then we have to use this design, right? So it is just a design things and nothing else. Okay, and that is fine. So once it is done, just a design, I already explained everything, I don't want to explain again. And one more thing actually over here, like we are using that student visit over here, like see modern info card actually we are using over here, like this modern info card. So that modern info card as a child we have to use it over there. So for that actually we have to just create one class over there, right? For modern info visit we have to implement over here. So let me copy that, and here let me paste it that. Okay, so it is also just a design over there. See, I'm just using a modern info card which can be shown as a card design, and here again they using the child, and then in this child we have to use the columns, right? And in this text field, whatever the text field we want, whatever the style we want, so that we have to specify over here. That's it, right? So this modern things also we have to use over here. See, as a modern card we are using over there for the class, for that student, right? So everywhere we have to use it. Okay, so we are already done for the dashboard screen. So don't worry, I'll share this code to better understand. As of now, definitely if you first time doing so, it little hard to understand, but yeah, if you go through that code and all, definitely you will get more idea. Okay, now final things over here. Now once everything is done, now we have to clean our code whatever we have done last time in last session. So we have to clean it, and then we have to implement our new separate file over here. Okay, and for that actually we required one more thing. So I show you on a demo, I just uh, I just show that navigation, right? So for navigation actually I record one more dependency, it is required over here, which can be route actually for here and there, okay, right? So for route I required in that section. Okay, so go route as a package actually which can help to navigate your one screen to another screen. Okay, so this is a new latest package. Okay, so that I'm using, but there's a couple of different things also over there that we can use it, but as of now I'll using this one, so that would be is fine for us, right? So let me modify that main class over there, right? So go back to over here what I need to do simply whatever that package I require, right? So as of now let me remove everything. Okay, so let me remove everything and get that all the package, and then I explain actually what we need. Okay, so remove this, also remove this. Okay, so basically we require this package, right? This is a common package we required. And then also see whatever dashboard we are imported, we have the class feature student service class, and also that platform, right? This is the common we have to just create it, so that we required. And next in this app section. Okay, so in this app section we have to little bit modify over here. So let me just modify this code and let me explain, okay, why we are doing that. Okay, so basically we are importing, then we are using as a service, right? So there's a concept as a service. If you're using service, so you have to resolve the dependency. So this is the way actually we have to resolve the dependency. So as of now, see, I'm using that, you know, service class, service, student service and class service. So those are we have to you know, resolved over here as a service provider. So we have to add it over there. Then child, we have to call that my app. That's it. Okay, so this is one changes over here. And then I have to just create you know, router. Okay, let me just create after here, create a router. Okay, so let me create a router and a go route, and in this create route just initialize, okay, what is that, you know just initial route, and then you know you can just specify path and along with your main scaffolding. So as of now I have not created, but yeah, don't worry, I'll just create it over here, main scaffold. So let me just quickly create that main scaffold in the last section. Okay, don't worry, we'll remove everything. Okay, so here let me create that main scaffold, and also under main scaffold also we have to dependent another main scaffold. Okay, so let me just create that also, and here let me create another main scaffolding over there which is dependent on that. Now see, if this main scaffolding calling this, okay, this scaffolding calling this, and this scaffolding, don't worry all that, I'll explain that. And also we have to record this web button. Okay, so let me create that web button again over there. Let me go down, let me create another functions. Okay, so cool, and scroll up. Okay, so main scaffolding calling this, and then back button. Okay, this is fine, and go up on the top. Okay, now we are good for here, right? So and go up. Okay, so this is go route. Okay, and this is main class. Okay, so main app static visit. So now we have to remove, you know, everything from here. Okay, except those things. So yeah, I think main statelet visit. Okay, so this is pretty much fine, but only we have to change it over here, the routing configuration. So there is another visit. Instead of this home, what I can do, I can simply call it this, that routing config, right? And in this routing config I can call that route. Okay, and here we have to use that not material app. In this material app we have that dot route, sorry, dot router. Okay, so now see, in this material app we are using, previously just change it. Okay, because we introduced the router, so what I will do, material router we have to use it, and inside that we have that configuration, we can add that material route. Okay, and rest of things we can keep it the same, no changes over here, right? And now go back to that here. So over now it is actually we don't require that student things because we already as a service, and then we don't require these things also, right? And also this main home visit, right? So that also we don't require, let me remove that, right? And that home state also we don't need that, right? And then finally student screen also we don't need that over there, right? And only we required here. Okay, cool. Now it's got clean, right? Because we are, everything is clean, only we have to, what we have done, we just created this new route and just configured in our my app. over here as a material router, and this router will call, and this is that main scaffolding template, right, which will call over here in this router builder every time. Actually, see, once I call it, so every time call this main scaffolding which we have just created over here, and here we can create a main state, and it is calling to this guy main scaffolding state. And if you expand that, now see what we have done over there. So on this nav tab, we just store whatever that our student, right, student or whatever route, actually we have to just keep it, and then also just current location, we get that current location over here, and then if it is not equal to match route index, so we have to go to that particular index, right. Simple logic on the on tab, right. And then finally over here we just find it first, like, okay, what kind of platform it is, and based on that platform specific, we just call it over here. Okay, now this is calling a visit, and just whatever screen we just apply this content, right, like student feature or class feature or dashboard feature, we store it over here, right, based on that visit index. And then finally here we have to differentiate. Okay, if it is bab, then for this bab this should be a navbar, right, as a container, and in here children would be as a bab navigation button. We are using that common bab navigation, and this is that, actually, like, see, on the tab every time, so we are calling that's on tab, right. So this which we have just created in here. So this is that that implementation. And also if you see, if it is mobile desktop, so using this implementation, and then if it is desktop, so also similar kind of implementation, not much changes, but yeah, using for, see, the navigation is different, right. For bab be using the container, right, and for navbar using desktop for on navigate on retailer, that could be on a sidebar also, we have to design that. And else we have the bottom navbar, that means it is support for mobile, which we can show that navbar on the bottom, right. And then finally we have to just create a scaffold, and this is the app bar, and the top show that app bar, and this is that body. So for body also we checking if it is a desktop, so we have to show that row, and if it is not desktop, so that means it should be the column. And then also bottom navigation bar only applicable for this mobile only, right. So that's it. And if you see the web navigation button, it is nothing, just you're calling that context, and icon and label and on press tab, that's it. We have to just define it over here based on the design and all. So this is pretty much good for implementation. I hope it should be work. So let me do, okay, I think my application already running over here. So okay, let me close that. Might be required that package actually be add this package, right. So definitely let me close this application and open it again, so that it get that whatever package it. If it is not, then we'll use the terminal to get that package. Okay, so let me close that or save all. Now open it again. So this is my application, Flutter application, and go to there, and here so yeah, I think it's try to installing something. Okay, let me wait. Okay, so after reopen this application, so let me try to select Chrome and run this application. Okay, finally, see, that is the magic. Okay, so now I am just opening in a web browser, so let me open it full screen. Okay, so student, okay, student also is fine, and if it is class also is fine. Also there is a class method, so if I can add a new class, for example b, and capacity would be 30, and just add it. Okay, now I added a new class, and if you go to the dashboard, now see it is 5. And if I just go to a student, let me remove that and go back. So this is 3 and 5, right? So that means it is working fine. Even if I want to add it, so for example Charlie 1, so it's got updated also, right? And delete also is working same, means that means all that functionality is working fine as expected. And also it is a web application, so it is showing at the top view, right? And navigation also it's working fine. Let me run this application in other device, like I just open in a window as well. Let me open that window and run without debugging. So desktop application also got running over here. See, I just opening desktop application, and if you minimize, now this is my desktop and this is my web browser, right? And see, this is a difference. Like desktop has a sidebar menu, and here for web application we have that top bar menu. And also these are same feature like student. If I click a student, I can add a student, and let me add a new student, for example Karthik, and age 25, and grade something this, and class. Now see, this is that feature, like whatever class you just add it, you are able to see over here and just add it. Okay, so new class also got added. If you go back to dashboard, it should be increase, and also go to the class if you want to delete, so you are able to see that class also got in decrease, right? So that means it is working fine for this desktop and web application. Let me run this application in the Android application, this mobile application. So for that, let me just choose for emulator. So yeah, emulator got opening over here, and let me run without debugging so that I can show you all these three application together. Let me minimize that. So finally it's tried to running in my emulator, Android emulator. And now this is that beauty. Okay, and here what I can do, simply if I go to that student, now see I'm able to that student. If I click this, now see student list over there, details over there. If I add it, so I can add it over there. Like for example, let me try to edit one, and also if I want to change that class, like class 4, and update it. Now see, class 4 is updated. Even if I want to delete, I can delete it, right? If I want to add, I can add it. Similar, if I go back to dashboard, it's got decrease or increase based on the student, right? So currently we have the 3 students, so I can say 3 student. If I go to that class also ability can add a new class. Like for example, let me add a class something, class 6, and section would be A, and then capacity would be 30, and then add. Now see, new class got added. If you go back to dashboard, that also increasing. And then if you go to class section, go to that class section. If you want to, not class section, go to that student section. If you try to add it, you are able to see that class 6 also available over here. You can update it also. So, and yeah, similar, I think, yeah, I think that is fine. And if you go to the student, okay, there's details also is working for all this platform, so that I want to check. Yeah, so see, all that platform is working fine as expected. So, and don't worry about that, this code I'll share with you on my GitHub link, so you can check out in the video description and you can get it. So thank you, have a nice day, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share.